One of the most versatile and endearing actresses of the past half-century has died. Dianne Keaton.
The world stopped that morning in Los Angeles. The kind of silence that only follows the loss of someone extraordinary. News had broken. Dianne Keaton was gone. At her quiet funeral, under soft candlelight, Keanu Reeves stepped forward, voice trembling, to honor her. "She turned solitude into light," he said. His words cut through the room like truth itself. But behind that goodbye was something more. A bond the world never truly saw, and a story Hollywood tried to forget. Until now. Stay with us. This is Dianne Keaton's final chapter. Dianne's death came as a shock, though her family revealed she had been battling pneumonia in her final months. Their statement was brief and tender. They thanked the public for their love and asked for privacy, adding that Dianne had spent her last days surrounded by her children, writing in her journal, photographing her garden, and cherishing small, quiet joys. Even in her final days, she was creating, still an artist, still a dreamer. The news spread swiftly across every corner of the entertainment world. That evening, Saturday Night Live closed its broadcast with a simple black-and-white photograph of Dianne Keaton and the words, "In memory of Dianne Keaton." No music, no montage, just an image that carried decades of brilliance. Social media flooded with tributes. Robert De Niro wrote, "I'm heartbroken." Dianne was pure soul. Goldie Hawn called her a woman so unique she could never be replaced. Bette Midler said, "The memories of her go beyond imagination." Nancy Meyers, who directed her in Something's Gotta Give, said, "Working with Dianne changed my life. She was proof that women at any age could still be the center of the story." Messages also came from Mary Steenburgen, Jane Fonda, and Ellen DeGeneres, all remembering Dianne not just as a performer, but as the embodiment of grace, humor, and humanity. The tributes revealed something universal. Everyone who crossed paths with her had felt her warmth. To understand why her passing felt so personal, you have to look back at the story of a girl from Santa Ana, California, who became a symbol of strength, wit, and independence. Born as Dianne Hall on January 5, 1946, she was the eldest of 4 children. Her father, John Hall, worked as a civil engineer, and her mother, Dorothy Keaton Hall, was an amateur photographer who filled their home with art, laughter, and creativity. From her mother, Dianne learned to see beauty in details. The way light hit a window, the lines on a stranger's face, the poetry of imperfection. After brief studies at Santa Ana College and Orange Coast College, Dianne decided to chase her dream. In 1968, she packed her bags and moved to Manhattan, where she joined the cast of Hair on Broadway. The production was wild, daring, and unapologetic. But when other cast members agreed to appear nude on stage, Dianne refused. That choice didn't come from rebellion, but conviction. She was determined to stay true to herself, even when the world expected otherwise. Behind the curtain, though, she was fighting her own private battle. The constant pressure to look a certain way led to a painful eating disorder that lasted for years. "I used to eat 20,000 calories a day just to throw it up," she later admitted. "I wanted to be accepted." Eventually, she sought therapy, and through that healing came the lesson that would define her. "Fear taught me strength." In 1969, fate stepped in. Dianne met Woody Allen during the play Play It Again, Sam. Their chemistry was instant, both on stage and off. They shared a rare understanding, blending humor, intellect, and curiosity. From that partnership came one of the greatest films in cinematic history, Annie Hall in 1977. Annie Hall wasn't just a film. It was Dianne's soul projected onto the screen. The character's name itself was personal. Annie was her nickname, and Hall was her real last name. The film captured everything she was: funny, awkward, brilliant, and vulnerable. It earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress. And in that moment, she became the voice of a new generation of women. Strong, independent, imperfect, and completely unforgettable. Her look in Annie Hall changed fashion forever. The oversized trousers, button-down shirts, and men's vests became iconic. "Freedom isn't rebellion," Dianne once said. "It's the courage to be yourself." Her style was copied by millions and continues to inspire even today. In 1981, she starred in Reds opposite Warren Beatty. The project was massive and emotionally draining. She once recalled, "There were moments when my hands shook. My eyes filled with tears. I was afraid I would collapse." Yet, she pushed through, and Reds went on to win multiple major awards. But success came at a price: burnout. For a time, she withdrew from the spotlight to rediscover herself. By the late 1980s, she made a triumphant return with Baby Boom, playing a career-driven woman forced to balance motherhood and ambition. The film was a hit, and audiences adored her all over again. But when The Good Mother failed the following year, Dianne didn't see it as defeat. She saw it as direction. From then on, she chose roles that challenged her creatively, instead of chasing box office success. Her personal life was just as layered as her films. She shared a long and complicated romance with Al Pacino, her co-star from The Godfather. Their relationship spanned nearly 2 decades, full of love, distance, and mutual respect. "I told him, either marry me or let's end it," Dianne once said. "He chose his path, and I chose mine." Even after parting, their respect never wavered. Years later, Al Pacino would say, "She was my light for a long time." In the 1990s, Dianne began to expand her creativity behind the camera. She directed Unstrung Heroes in 1995, which earned critical acclaim and an Academy Award nomination. She also explored photography, design, and writing, publishing memoirs and photo books that revealed her sensitive, reflective spirit. Away from the fame, she was just a woman searching for balance between art and peace. But her greatest cinematic comeback came in 2003 with Something's Gotta Give, directed by Nancy Meyers and co-starring Jack Nicholson and Keanu Reeves. The film became a cultural phenomenon. It proved that love stories didn't have to belong only to the young. Dianne, in her 50s, was radiant, confident, and irresistibly real. Rumors about her and Keanu Reeves quickly made headlines, but Dianne handled it with her signature grace. "I love Keanu," she said with a smile, "as a wonderful friend." Her collaboration with Nancy Meyers opened a new chapter in her life. She became a symbol of ageless charm and authenticity. In 2006, L'Oréal Paris named her its global ambassador, celebrating her as a timeless beauty. Not because of perfection, but because of presence. Beyond Hollywood, Dianne's heart belonged to her causes. She was deeply committed to the Helen Woodward Animal Center, participating in adoption drives and quietly donating to rescue projects. "My love for animals is the most important part of my life," she once said. She also supported housing initiatives for the homeless in Los Angeles, preferring to give quietly without publicity. At 50, she made another life-changing decision: motherhood. She adopted her daughter Dexter in 1996 and her son Duke in 2001. "Motherhood is humbling," she said. "It teaches you that you can't control everything." Away from the cameras, Dianne was a devoted mom, leading a grounded and loving family life. In her later years, Dianne slowed her pace but never stopped creating. She spent her days restoring old homes, photographing architecture, and writing. In early 2025, she sold her Brentwood home, a place she had personally designed and renovated. Architectural Digest called it Dianne Keaton's aesthetic manifesto. Simple, bright, and deeply personal. 2 weeks after it was sold, she passed away. The timing felt poetic, as if her final chapter had been perfectly written. In one of her last interviews, she spoke candidly about her choices. "I didn't marry because I didn't want to trade my independence," she said. "I'm not good at nurturing, and I accept that." There was no sadness in her words, only truth. Dianne Keaton had lived her life her way, on her terms, and without regret. Her influence never faded. Younger actresses like Emma Stone, Kristen Stewart, and Cate Blanchett often cited her as an inspiration. A writer for The Guardian once wrote, "Dianne Keaton made strangeness seductive and turned difference into pride." She proved that elegance didn't need extravagance. It came from authenticity. At the time of her death, Dianne's estate was valued at around $100 million, the result of 6 decades of acting, directing, writing, and investing. Yet her real wealth was never in numbers. It was in the legacy she built, a legacy of courage, creativity, and freedom. Her financial trust, established years earlier, ensured her 2 children, Dexter and Duke, would inherit her estate privately and peacefully. But more than assets, they inherited her greatest lesson: to live honestly, fearlessly, and fully. Dianne Keaton left behind an unmatched body of work. Annie Hall, The Godfather, Reds, Baby Boom, and Something's Gotta Give. Each role was a piece of her. Intelligent, emotional, and endlessly human. But beyond the screen, she left something far more powerful: a way of living. She once said, "I have no regrets. I've lived my way." Those words sum up her story perfectly. Dianne Keaton was never just an actress. She was an idea that women could age with power, love with honesty, and stand alone with grace. As the screen fades to black, Dianne Keaton's spirit still glows, a timeless reminder that true beauty lives in authenticity. Her story may have ended, but her light never will. If her journey moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more stories of Hollywood's greatest hearts. Because legends like Dianne never fade, they live on.